Hi, today I'm here with Mr. Andrew Bannish. He's a project manager at BrainCo. Mr. Bannish, would you like to share a little bit more about what your company and organization focuses on?
Sure, of course. Thank you very much. Happy to be here. So I represent BrainCo. BrainCo is a brain-computer interface technology company based out of Somerville, Massachusetts. We have about a little over, well, actually, I can never quite remember the number, but about anywhere between 200 to 300 employees around the world, all doing different applications of brain-computer interface technology, which we primarily do through non-invasive EEG technology. And my job is working within our brand NeuroMaker, and we think of all the wonderful ways that this kind of technology can be used within the education space, either as a learning tool or as a way to help people understand the brain within the world of education itself. And lots of other things in between there.
That's super fascinating. It's a great I think connection between the real world and biotechnology. So where how did you come to this role for students who are aspiring to achieve a similar position to you? What kind of was the education pathway and what you did to kind of come to this position?
Sure. So there's a long story there, but I will abbreviate it a little bit, make it a little bit shorter. So my background has always been within some international education. So I, believe it or not, I actually started off my career as an English teacher and a Chinese translator. So I used to translate legal documentation from Chinese into English. And then an opportunity came up about probably 8 years ago or so to help run a STEM program in China, which I did for about 5 years. It's called First Robotics. And through that, it really exposed me to like the greater world of technology in education itself. So a whole lot of really cool stuff happened. And then I did my master's program in technology, innovation, and education at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. And then really wanted to find something like really interesting that we could do with technology in the education space that hasn't been done yet. So was able to get connected with BrainCo. You know, I feel like a lot of this technology might be very simple for a lot of the listeners here, but for everything out there in the real world, when you're thinking of introducing EEG in any facet outside of something purely medical that you see in a clinic or a hospital, it's really, really engaging. People get this whole avenue into being able to see more of how their brain works in real time, even just by looking at some simple like cognitive engagement and like relaxation measurements that we can get from some simple EEG setups. Even those things, being able to introduce that to a wider populace, especially with a lot more cool applications and ways to see that data, really turns some heads and makes really, really fun, interesting work.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Could you expand upon one of the specific applications that your team is working on right now with the EEGs?
Sure. So right now, one of our most directly related to that concept projects is NeuroMaker BCI. So what we've noticed is BCI is a growing field. You know, Elon Musk talks about Neuralink, and Facebook has their own research arm dedicated to that. And you know, when a lot of schools out there are looking to engage students with cutting edge technologies, you'll see a lot of VR headsets. You'll see some like different kinds of robotic systems, and it was we have not seen any very user-friendly ways to introduce people who are interested in brain-computer interface technology in a way that's easy to digest without having a lot of extra background knowledge. So something that could be operated in the middle school or high school. So what our NeuroMaker BCI project has been taking existing EEG hardware, like mostly used for cognitive training and like meditation training, and be able to find those right applications and activities that an educator or a student could go through to understand the fundamentals of, you know, what's the least amount of neuroscience, the least amount of engineering, the least amount of program that you need to actually start building things with these concepts. So that's what our BCI project has been. We just released a brand new piece of hardware to go with that and a new software, and it's been really fun. We've been finding all kinds of different ways that people can engage with this. You know, starting off with a little bit of training to understand what these things mean. Like students can then go out and control things in their direct vicinity with their brain signals. So like having a really simple, easy connection to our hardware to, like whether they want to change the configuration of lights or other motors. It's been a way for people to kind of do something different with, if you will, like a sensory organ they haven't even really used to facilitate this kind of activity before.
Yeah, no, that's super fascinating. It's a very unique, I think, intersection as well. I think it just goes to show how, intersected really like medical field is with education and so many other fields. And there's so many opportunities, I think, in this intersection. So I think my last, big question for you is, do you have any tips for students who are aspiring to fulfill a similar role in biotechnology in research and application? And what they can start doing in high school or anything they can start doing in college to prepare for that?
Sure, of course. And everybody's going to take their own specific path, and like everybody here will have to find whatever works best for them. But I think some general tips that we've seen from our current research team and our applications engineers have been, really make sure that you're focusing on your studies. I know that sounds very lame and outdated, but it truly does matter. Like being able to find your right way into the programs that'll assist you the most, I think starts with just what's in front of you today. What are the academic qualifications that you have to hit, and that connecting that to other pathways into high school and university programs that'll be able to build upon this innate interest that you have. But I would say like that's kind of a basic piece. So that's something that you need. But on top of that, to really make sure that you're in the right place, absolutely be as loud as you can. And by that, I mean, I know a lot of people here are probably already doing this, but build your own projects, find maybe an open source project that you want to contribute to if you're ready for that. Look around to see what communities are active in this kind of stuff. I know there's a ton of different neurotechnology groups out there that will work with people at the high school and university level. Make sure your GitHub is full of, if you're taking that route, is full of different things that you've worked on and great documentation about what you put together. It's been easier than ever to build your own personal website. Actually, one of the things that's brought people on to our team, whether it be the education side of things or the research side of things, is because the people that we work with had a very easy to communicate way of what things that they did in this space. And you think about it, it doesn't matter if you're trying to get a job at a Fortune 500 company or a brand new startup, like people have a very limited amount of time that they can vet what you are capable of. And if you're only relying on a resume or a university degree, in this day and age, that's probably not going to be enough. Like you're going to have to be able to show who you are in a way that somebody can really get to the point of what contribution you could bring in, less than 20 seconds. And I think having a polished website or some projects that you can outline to, and even during the interview process, people have already seen your resume. People have already seen like what you've already done. Like they really want to get to know you a bit better and find ways that they can visually connect with the things that you've done. So I can't recommend that enough. And I think most importantly, like no matter what adventure you take on in this space, really connecting yourself with good people around you, so that good community. I think building your network early, and it doesn't even have to be high level people or people that one would typically contribute or talk about networking with, but really who are people around you who are going to support your mission, who are going to keep you going through the ups and downs that inevitably happen in any career path, and to move forward. So I think any combination of those things could put somebody in a really good place.
Thank you. That was so helpful. That was very thorough. I especially like that tip about the website. I personally think that's something that I think I need to incorporate as well into my process. Well, yeah, thank you so much for joining me today and our members in Arkansas HOSA. Your tips were so helpful.
Thank you. And it was a pleasure to be here.